Just did the 12-inch screen install on my truck. Pretty awesome upgrade. Might be one of the best ones I've done to my truck so far. But there are a few things you need to watch out for when you're doing this. If you like this kind of content, trucks, Raptors, doing stuff like this, go ahead and hit subscribe. I got more coming. All of your functionality still works on this screen, which is awesome. That's kind of why I chose this one. Got an exciting video. I'm excited to do this video today, something I would normally do on the truck already. And I got a great opportunity from a company that I'm going to show you all here in a second that said, hey, we'd love for you to try this out and show us a video of you installing on your truck. So that's what we're going to do today, gosh darn it. And we're going to have a nice cup of water while we do it. I will start with an unboxing. Don't need a whole lot of tools. A 7mm, some trim pry tools, which they give you in the kit that they give you, and you need a Phillips head for a couple of the screws that they supply. So we're going to do an unboxing here, kind of double boxed up here, pretty nicely packaged. So we're going to open this guy, take the shipping box off. This came from the other side of the world, so pretty well boxed so far. I'm pretty happy with that. You can see pretty nice box that they give you. That is our brand that we are working with today, CARABC. So we'll open this guy up. Got a nice thank you letter from them, along with some instructions specifically for the Ford F150, so that's nice, as well as a video to reference with a QR code if you want to do that. Primarily looking at transferring over the computer boards from the original screen over to the new one that we have here. So pretty cool there, going over how many, where they are, so on and so forth. So that's nice to reference to make sure we have everything. Nice list of parts of what we have in the kit right there. And harness does say, note if you are using Sync 3, which for the F-150 for this generation you're going to be Sync 3, you need to make sure that you upgrade to the latest 3.4 on the original 8-inch screen before you do this install. Otherwise you may run into some issues. So again, if you reference back to a video right before this one, you can see I give you the quick, easy way of how to upgrade your Sync 3 to the latest 3.4. It's a very easy system. I do recommend using a Windows computer and not a Mac. So if you only have a Mac, it might be a little harder. I was not able to do it that way, but a Windows-based computer, very, very straightforward process, getting it upgraded to the 3.4 in order to do this install. So I'm excited. This is probably one of the best things you can do for an older truck. I mean, the F-150s, I feel like most modern trucks, or at least domestic trucks, Ford, GM, and Dodge, they kind of update their trucks pretty often. And so unless you're buying a new truck every other year, you're kind of falling behind on some of the technology. Yeah, is that really important for a lot of people? It just depends. It's your preference. So installing a bigger screen is one of the biggest things you can do to kind of modernize your older truck, going from the 8-inch to a 12-inch screen on the truck. I'll also, in a future video, kind of go over kind of the top 5 things I've done to this truck to kind of make it my own and kind of modernize it. You can see in some of the videos I've already done, I've done the wheels, suspension, the steering wheel, a lot of these things, especially stuff that you touch every day, like the steering wheel and the shifter. Those kind of things are going to help kind of modernize your vehicle and make it feel newer than it actually is. So that's enough talking on the instructions. We will reference back to this as we're doing the install, but let's take the screen out of our packaging. So nice or foam on top of there, and there is our beautiful new screen. You do lose your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, your preset buttons on there. I honestly have never touched those buttons in my truck in the years that I've owned this, so that's not a big deal for me. I've seen that you can kind of Dremel this out if you want to kind of retrofit those plugs over there. Initial impressions are awesome. Giant screen, looks like quality. The color on the trim here looks like a pretty good match for the trim that's already on the truck, so that's not going to be an off color. It looks pretty good. And yeah, we'll get the rest of the stuff out of the box here, and we'll start working our way towards the install. Got this to the side, and we'll go through the rest of what's in the box here as we take another sip of water. Immediately, how massive of a difference that screen is compared to what's up there. Stuff like this is what really modernizes your vehicle. You can kind of see, again, in previous video, I changed out the steering wheel. Pretty happy with the steering wheel. It makes a big difference. It's something you touch the entire time. You should be touching the entire time you're driving the vehicle. And then I did the faux carbon down here. Again, something you touch every time that you're going to want. It makes the truck feel better, in my opinion. We'll get started on this. What you got to do first is up here, you're going to have to take this cover off because there are 2 7mm up here on the top that you got to replace, or that you have to take off underneath that screen there. And I'm going to use those trim tools to do so. And that'll allow me to take this upper piece off. We'll pry it up. There's 3 clips in the front right here, so that'll allow us to pop that up. We'll unplug the speaker on the front there, and that'll allow us to start working on, I believe there's 2 7mm up here, but we'll get there when we show, and that allows us to bring this out. So we'll do that next. Hopefully you can see, and I'm not in the way. If I get in the way, just say something, and I'll get out of the way, okay? So we got our 7mm, and we got our pry tools, so let's start with that. Also, something I didn't mention earlier, have a good magnet. Anytime you work on a vehicle, especially, there's going to be some bolts and screws and stuff back here that are going to be, that way you're not dropping them down into the abyss and you can get them later. All right, let's take this little grill off. Let's see how easy this is. take it off of there. There we go. There's our screen off of there. So we got our two 7mm out of there, these little guys. So now we're going to take our trim tools again, and we'll come across the front here, and we will pry this guy out. Let me see if I can even get this in here. Oh, 3, and that guy's up. And there's our dinky little factory speaker, which just has a pinch and pull here. And you have two 7mm on the top right here. So same thing, let's loosen those guys. That should allow us to pry this forward, I believe. So let's start prying gently, right like that. So just a little bit of finessing. Now you get to have the fun part where you start unplugging all of these little plugs on the backside. So they are just pinch and pulls on most of them. And those look to be color coordinated, so you can't mix them up. So this guy's green, it has some green tape on it. This guy's gray, has some gray tape on it. And then the other one, nothing on it, that goes to the middle. So if yours doesn't have that, just notate to yourself that that's where those guys go. I do also want to mention you lose your CD player with the new one. So just keep that in mind. If you're a CD person, unfortunately, you're not gonna have a CD. All right, so we're gonna take our screen off now. So we got 6 7mm around the perimeter here. This is where I like to have that magnet, so you can catch these so they don't fall. Our screen out of there now, like that. And of course, we're gonna have some plugs in the back. So there is our 8-inch screen. This guy, do not toss this. This is that module I was talking about earlier. So this is gonna come off the back of the screen here, and you're gonna put this onto the new plate for the new screen. So don't throw that away. Set that off to the side as well. So next, we need to take the center console trim off in order for us to get these two side panels off. All right, so we need to take this center console piece off. So on the bottom here, you're gonna see this trim piece. It's all one big guy. You got a 7mm all the way up here by the accelerator pedal. So you gotta take that 7mm out right there. That'll allow you to pull this whole guy back, and that'll allow you to pull this trim piece off. I believe it's the same on the other side, but we're gonna go and do this 7mm side first, and then we'll get the rest off here in a second. And this whole trim piece right there comes off. All right, same thing on this side, except you don't have your little 7mm here, it doesn't feel like, so this should just peel back just like that. So you just follow it towards the back, and you can just pull this guy off of there just like that. So don't forget to stay hydrated while you're doing this. Should just be prying this trim up in the center, right like that, and you're gonna lose all your bolts, just like that. Perfect time to say, don't put your bolts right here in the center, because they're just gonna shoot all over the place. Well, I'm gonna look for those and make sure I still have all of my bolts. All right, crisis averted. I found all of my bolts. Let's get one side up. Let's pull the other side up here. Right like that. And there's our trim piece. So this is nice and loose now. Let's pull the passenger side out, and there's the driver's side out. Well, that's wonderful. Now we just gotta overcome the shifter there. Let's see if we need trim tools to pull these guys off, or if I can just do it by hand. Looks like by hand will work. So just slowly, gently work your way down so you're not breaking anything, and easy like that. So the only thing we need to transpose over is our 12 volt and 120 volt AC. All right, let's continue on. Same thing on the driver's side here. Slow static pressure, don't yank, just let it kind of come, and it should just slide right out, right like that. Transfer case selector, and if you have it, your trailer backup. We are just about to the point where we can start our reassembly process. The next thing we need to do is we need to take our control module off the back of this guy. So this guy's loose now, and now we just have to unplug this antenna piece, which is a pinch and pull as usual. One thing that they usually reference when you're doing your Sync 3 update to the 3.4 is to make sure that this module is not a 2020 or newer. If you do the Sync update and you try to do this with a 2020 or newer module, I believe you could harm this device, or you can harm this module, and you end up having to get a new one. So manufacturer date 10/13/2016. So definitely original to the truck. We're gonna take everything off the original dash piece, and we're going to transpose it all over to the new one there. So what I'm first going to do is take all of these buttons off up top. All right, next we need to take apart the panel, the plastic panel here that covers or your computer chips or whatever you want to call them, and will allow us to take these guys off. Those look like T10s, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them on this plastic piece that we need to remove. So that should allow us to pull this guy off right like that. So there is our cover. All right, so next we have our two pieces. You have these two ribbons, these two ribbon wires on either side. So you pull those two guys up, and that allows you to pull the ribbon wire out of its slot. Right, 6 T10s on this bottom motherboard here that we're going to transpose over to our new panel right here. All right, all those guys are off, and now we can pull our little board off right there, and that guy should come right off. You also have your actual dials, knobs, whatever you want to call them. Those come right off as well. Just keep those where they were and don't spin them. And then we'll, same thing, come up with this guy. I feel like you're doing a little bit of surgery here, but if you take your time and go easy with it, you should be perfectly fine. So we got our new trim piece here, which is gonna go like this. So we'll literally just plug in everything that we just took off, and it just fits right back in where it was. All right, next we're gonna move over this panel, and this is gonna go onto our new screen. So that is our radio controls. Again, the manual, I don't know if you can even call it the manual radio, but that's what we're gonna transpose over to the new guy there. So we're gonna work on that next. All right, loose. Those guys should come right off. This panel that's on here does not. This is gonna stay put because we are not utilizing this. Again, if you wanted to transpose this over to your new one, so you wanted all the buttons, you're not gonna keep your passenger airbag light. That goes away, which, you know, whatever, doesn't bother me. But you keep your 3 buttons in the middle, you just lose your numbered buttons for your presets. Again, I've maybe touched those once since I've had the truck, so not a big deal for me. All right, so we are essentially all done with this original panel. Now we're gonna be working with our new screen, and I'm going to take this nice piece of foam that they give you with the new screen, and we're gonna set this down because we're gonna be turning the screen upside down while we're working on adding these panels to the new guy. And so volume is gonna go on the driver's side. So it's going to feel a little backwards, but as you're looking at it upside down, the driver's side is going to be this side. As you're looking at the back of it, it's going to be the right-hand side of your piece, and then this is going to go over top of it. So we have the driver's side piece, which is going to, again, has little locating tabs or locating pins, and then our tuner piece, same thing. You have little locator pins that allow you to put it in right where it needs to go. So we're done there. Next, we're going to attach this trim piece onto our guy here. So you have 4 spots where it attaches, and you can see them in there. That middle one's probably going to be a little tough, but we'll make do. We'll figure it out. So that guy attaches on there, and then your ribbon cables attach on there as well. So that's the next step we're going to do. One thing to pay attention to that I didn't do initially is you need to pay attention to the screws that they give you. So they give you a bunch of hardware that you need to put in, and in the instructions here, it is going to show you what needs to go where. So pay attention very closely to the diagrams. It gives you the instructions here on what of the hardware they gave you goes where. So screw size 3mm by 10mm, you're gonna put 4 of those on here in certain spots. So you got 4 3mm by 10mm to hold your radio controls. Hopefully you can see where I'm pointing. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 up there. So you got the 4 of those guys there. Next, I believe there's more screws that go into that guy. Now we have 3 by 16mm screws. So you're gonna have 8 total going into the radio control panel here. It's really nice of them to include all of this hardware. You know, you get some stuff from different vendors and you're on your own. So now we can work on getting this attached where it goes with the bolts that they tell you to put to attach that panel on there. So in your instructions, it is gonna tell you to use the 2.6 by 10mm bolts. There are 3 of them, and that's what attaches the AC controls to the bottom of the screen panel. So you're gonna have 3 of those along there. We've got everything attached. So our HVAC is attached to the bottom of the panel. You have 1, 2, 3 screws that hold it on. I've put my ribbons back on. Very easy, just line them up. You'll feel an audible kind of click, and then you press those 2 white sides down on either side. So that guy is all connected. There is our screen with everything attached. That's what it's gonna look like in the truck, but we gotta put these panels back on. So this panel is the one that this guy mounts to, and you can't mess it up because it's got one way that it goes because there's 3 screws, and it goes right like that. So I'm gonna screw those 3 on there. And then this piece right here that has all the tape on it, this guy is gonna go right like that. It can only go one way because it has these little cutouts for the 2 plugs. So again, it's gonna go on there like that. So there's your cover panel, covering that guy back up. We have everything plugged back in, so your transfer case, your 12-volt guy right there, HVAC controls, radio controls, everything's good to go. So this is ready to go into the truck. All right, you're probably saying to yourself, wasn't that guy wearing a different shirt earlier in the video? And yes, I was. We are on day 2, so we are going to finish up today. Got everything how we need it on the screen. I'm gonna show you a couple things that I didn't show in the last update or the last section of the video. So one thing I made sure to do is in the instructions, it specifically says you want to put black electrical tape over these ribbons, both of them on either side. So I did that, and it's got tape on this lower side, so it should not have any issues, but they specifically say to do it in the instructions, so that is what we're gonna do, or that's what we did. And then also, because I have the manual AC controls, actually it's not on the AC, it's on the radio, so it should be on here. There's rings that go inside in between right here. They come with the kit. I just didn't show me putting them on in the previous part of this video, so just wanted to point that out. There's little rings that go in here around the inside of the volume and the tuning dials, and it just kind of cleans that up. It kind of fills up that space. Otherwise it looks a little weird having a little gap in there, but that fills it up, which is nice. So here is the factory APIM. Again, I'm not 100% what the acronym is for this. Somebody else can correct me. are plugged into the factory signal. I believe this is the video signal coming in, and then you have your micro USB goes right there. So plug that guy in, and this is mounted to that plate that was supplied by CARABC. So it's the inset, it's going to go in like this, so it's going to sit in the vehicle that way, and you'll notice one side's flat on the bottom, and then one side has a recess. The recess is going to go up, so it'll go in there like that. You're going to use 4 of your original silver bolts that we had earlier in the video, and then I just used the original Phillips heads that connected the APIM to the original screen to connect it to this panel. So we got those 2 plugged in, and then we have our harness. I'm going to set this off to the side for a second so I can explain the harness. So you have your factory harness that comes out of the truck here. That's going to plug into the harness that's supplied by CARABC. This plugs in to the back of the APIM right here, right like that. And you can't really mess that up. It'll go one way, and it's got a little latch that pulls it in and secures it into the plug right there. So that's easy enough. So we're going to set that there for a second and then talk about the rest of this harness. So you also get in the harness, or the other end of the harness, I guess I should say, is this is what plugs into the screen, this guy. And then separately, also supplied with the kit, is you're going to get this extension cable. This is going to be from this APIM, and this plugs into the back of the screen. Make sure this guy's back where it wants to be. Stock, or you need to repair one, it could be useful, but I don't imagine they're worth anything. So that's where we are. Just make sure all of your wires are where they need to be, and these are going to come up top for your 3 plugs. This is your factory harness, so you can kind of tuck this guy in. I just pulled it out a little bit so I have enough purchase to plug into the screen, but really there's plenty of room to get this plugged into the screen and be able to kind of tuck it away as well. So I think we're ready for our screen. We're going to bring this guy over, and we are going to start plugging stuff in and get this in place. Let's get our signal wire, this blue guy, plug this into the back. Let's see if I can turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, there we go. So here's our blue wire, goes right in there. An audible click, and then our white wire, this guy right here, will come right like this. It can only go one way, so you feed it on there, same thing, audible click, right like that. So those 2 guys are plugged in. AC controls, audible nice click, and then we're going to plug in. This is our transfer case controller. Oh, nice, beautiful clicks, getting that guy in there. Over on this side, plug these 2 in. This is your AC and your 12 volts, and then I'll come up the top. Actually, let me do that first while I'm here. Plug those 3 guys in. Now we have our 2 plugs over here, your power outlets. Those guys are plugged in, and this should feed in. Let's just make sure we're doing a little bit more wire management here, making sure everything's where it needs to be. The 2 AC vents should help guide where it needs to go. Work your way around. I see. All right, so you have these 2 metal tangs that need to be up because those are going to bolt to the top, those 2 7mm on the top here. So just make sure those, that was what was holding me up here. Just make sure those are up above the plastic piece. That way they come in where they need to be. All right, there we go. Screen is in. It's in all of its spots. Those 2 little metal tangs, perfect. Line up right where they need to be. And now we get to work on our 2 little side blades. Actually goes like that. So you got one side blade that goes right there. That cleans this side up nicely like that. If I can get it to line up. And then the same thing on the other side here. You're gonna use 3 of the supplied screws, and that's what's gonna hold this trailer brake control. All right, 3 screws on there, holds your guy on there. Pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna take our trailer brake control. It's gonna go this way, so make sure it's facing up. It should only feed in one way because it has these channels that hold it in place. And very satisfying audible click getting that guy on there. And we'll just take our plug, make sure it's plugged in, audible click again. And it has a couple of, actually 4 of the clips that hold it in place. So it should be pretty easy to line this up. This one should be pretty self-explanatory. You got 2 clips, and then these guys just notch in. There we go. Nice, satisfying audible clipping was pretty clean. The lines line up pretty well for something that's aftermarket. That's not, you know, I wonder if this was a Ford, you know, or Lincoln piece, because that's where it does come from. Is this a All right, next is our center console trim piece. So we'll just slide this guy, only goes one way. So over the gear selector. And actually we might have to put this into neutral real fast just to get it back where it needs to be. So give me a second here. And you may see our screen setup start up here in a second. There we go. Nice Ford logo. So with your forescan, which is something I'll also show you all, if you want to change this to the Raptor splash screen when the truck first starts up, you can do that. Here's our nice interface. I will add, you will potentially run into some issues where it will not size correctly. It'll still show up as the 8-inch screen on here. In the instructions, they instruct you to unplug the 2 plugs on the back of the screen, so that white and the blue little clip. Unplug those a couple times until you get that to where it is the full experience, the full 12 inches there. So there we are. Just take your time with it, lining up the center console here. It will go back in. Again, I had to lift the pull back on the shift lever in order to get enough room, but it will pop right back in. It'll fit real nicely into these grooves right here, so you can get that back in. Now we're going to put our side trim pieces back on. Just make sure you have all of your clips still in place, and slide this guy where it needs to go. Put our driver's side trim piece back on over here. Take our 7mm, this guy back on here. You just need 4 of your original bolts. So 4 of those original black bolts, which should be all you have left of those. Again, you'll have the 2 silver bolts remaining. But we'll put this guy back up where he goes. First, you have the 2 that holds the screen on. No time for this. There's that navigator splash screen that I was talking about earlier. Let's see what that looks like. All right, make sure you have all your clips on this guy. You can plug in your speaker here. That's how it'll click. Thank you. Slide this guy down. Right in place. Flow. We're going into. There we go. 1 and 2. Grill back on. I think this only goes one way. Like that. That's all. So there's our screen. Install looks good. Pretty happy with the quality, the fitment. Everything looks nice. It fits nice. Lines up nicely. Let's make sure everything works. Put our key in there. Not sure why it's doing the old chime there. There's our, at least it's got a Ford splash screen for the startup. I guess it's got a navigator screen for the power down. Let's just run through everything, make sure it all works. Don't want to play any copyrighted music, so we're gonna get all the buttons to work. Tuner works, moves through the channels. It's on my Sirius XM. So you can see if our camera works. Camera works, looks good. It's our front, our 3 angles, the doors are open, so that's not gonna work. Auto start stop has been deactivated by switch, but I have it turned off with the tuner. Hazards work. Traction control off works, so all of our buttons work. Our hill descent control ready. So all of our buttons work, everything works. That's lit up, all of it. So you retain all of your functionality. You just get a nice, new, bigger screen in your truck, but it just looks a lot more premium. The screen looks a lot better. Pretty happy with how this went together. So pretty straightforward install. Let me know if there's anything else y'all want to see. This is the latest video on a series of things I've done to this truck. So if you want to see me do more stuff to this truck and more just stuff in general, go ahead and hit the subscribe on there for me. That way I can see what y'all want me to do, and let me know, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Hopefully the DIY video helped y'all, and we'll do more of these. Let me know what you want me to do next. Thanks.